Carnivores and Carnivore Curious. Glad to have you this afternoon. My name is Cassandra, and this is my Apex Odyssey. I had a pretty good day today. Work was busy, but not terrible, not overwhelming. For my meals, I had bacon and ground beef for breakfast and a steak for dinner. That's the same thing for the last 2 or 3 days in a row. But that pack of steaks that I had frozen, I ate the last one today. So I won't have any steak for probably the rest of the week. Whenever I thaw out a pack, there's usually 3 in there. So once I thaw them out, I have to eat them until they're gone. And I just leave them in the fridge, till I get ready for one. I never eat more than one a day. I guess I could, but I don't want to bother with them. The ground beef and the bacon was fine. My bacon is actually gone early. It normally lasts a week, but I ran out, so I took another pack out of the freezer and put it in the refrigerator, but I don't know if I'll cook it. I might just eat ground beef for the rest of the week. What's today, Wednesday? That's just 2 or 3 more days. I thought that since I do have a few new subscribers, I would kind of talk about what I'm doing being on the carnivore diet. Just a reminder for everybody that you can kind of do it how you want to. The bottom line is eat a proper human diet, and Dr. Berry has some good videos about what that entails, because it's different for different people. Some people can get away with eating some carbs. He said, I can't remember if he had said like 70 or 90% of people could eat really strict during the week and then eat a standard American diet on the weekends, and it would work out fine for them. But that would not work for me. First of all, the first problem is that I'm I have very addictive behavior around carbs. So if I get even a little bit, it sort of would trigger a binge that might last for weeks or months. I mean, this has happened too many times in the past for me not to know exactly what's going to happen. So if it does happen, this time I'm aware, and so I'm just hoping I don't do anything that jeopardizes my plan for my health. I originally started doing this, so I tried it a few years ago, and I stuck with it pretty well for 6 or 7 months, but I was still having dairy, and I have learned since that I do not have sober behavior around dairy. I could eat 2 cups of shredded cheese on top of something easy. I mean, forget about it. So I have cut that out. I was also still having artificial sweetener before, and that for me is just, it makes everything not work. I can try everything to be as carnivore as hard as I want to, but if I'm still having the artificial sweeteners, it would send me off the rails eventually. I could stick with it for a little while. So I did it for 6 or 7 months again, and then one night I did what I hear a lot of people doing now, and I'm glad I've gotten this out of the way. But I said, I've been doing great. I bet I can have some carbs now and just do it one time and it won't bother me. And so I did, and for a few days after that I was fine, but all the old cravings and things came back, and eventually I wasn't able to sustain it. So I learned from that, that I can't. I can tell myself whatever I want to, but I can't let carbs back in, because it messes me up every time. So in the intervening years, I had done various levels of keto, trying to get back to carnivore, because I knew that it was the only thing that was going to make me feel better and make my health better. Now, one thing from before, whenever I was doing carnivore before, one thing I did not notice while still having the dairy and the artificial sweeteners was that my mental health symptoms did not improve. And I've struggled with depression and anxiety and just being miserable for a long time. Since childhood. The first time I saw a counselor, I was 11 years old, but I had symptoms before that since I was like 6 or 7. And since I got on carnivore this time, 16 months ago, and have stayed away from dairy, stayed away from artificial sweeteners, and been very minimal with any kind of even spices or natural flavors, that kind of thing. My mental health has just been, it's improved so much. It's still unfathomable to me. It's hard for me to believe that I lived so many decades just feeling so terrible. And now all that's gone. And the more recent illnesses that I developed have been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, diabetes, and rheumatoid arthritis. And the symptoms of all of that are pretty much gone. I haven't had any fibromyalgia symptoms in a while. I was diagnosed with that several years before I was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. But whenever I was first diagnosed with that, I could barely move for a while. I remember the first time I went to see the rheumatologist. Somebody came, and you know how they call you to the back so that you can give them your insurance card and pay and all of that stuff, and then they let you come back to the waiting room. I was just like in obvious agony every time I moved my leg. The pain was just terrible. So the lady called me to the back, and I went back there and gave her I left my card and my ID with her, my insurance card and my ID. And instead of calling me back to come get it, she came out to me. She knew, I mean, she just felt so bad for me that she didn't want me walking any more than necessary. And I appreciated that so much. But it was pretty terrible. And I haven't had any symptoms of that. I mean, my knees, which were just a mess. I still don't walk upstairs too much, but I think I just need some, if I needed to do it, I could. But I don't practice it, so it still would wear me out. But my knees are good. My hips is something that was hard to diagnose. I think I was having really bad hip pain, so that, you know, when I was sitting, even if I adjusted in my seat, it would be terrible pain. It's hard to believe that it hurt that bad, but it did. And I went to see an orthopedic doctor about it, and he did x-rays, and he's like, your x-rays look good. Your hip bones are still in good shape. I'm like, why does it hurt so much? So he said I probably had bursitis, which is common in those joints. And he said he could give me some steroid shots, which I declined. But eventually And that still lasted me for a while. I mean, it was still going on, because even after I started getting treated for the rheumatoid arthritis, that didn't help the bursitis. And my rheumatologist didn't want me taking a bunch of anti-inflammatories, because I was taking a particular medicine for the rheumatoid arthritis, and that was hard on the liver, and anti-inflammatories in the quantities that I was taking, all of that stuff were extra hard on the liver, and my liver enzymes were questionable at the time. So, I mean, I was just suffering. I wasn't taking anything, and I wasn't getting any relief. And so after I started getting treated for the rheumatoid arthritis, the knee pain started clearing up, as well as a bunch of other weird stuff that the doctor said was related to rheumatoid arthritis, like leg cramps at night. And I would get Charlie horses, which is a leg cramp in your calf. Those would wake me up at night. But I would also have these other random excruciating pains that would, like, it felt like I got stabbed in the leg sometimes at night. And whenever I had to stand for more than, less than a minute, for maybe 30 seconds or so, my legs would start to get numb. So the treatment for rheumatoid arthritis helped that a lot, thank goodness. But it didn't help my hip pain. So within the first, I think I started seeing a lot of improvement within the first 30 days of being on Carnivore. Now, every once in a while, I'll think, man, is my hip hurting? And I might have a flash of something going on, but normally I don't even notice. It's not there. It's gone. So, that bursitis that they usually want to try to heal with steroid shots, we healed it with Carnivore. And again, no matter what, the most important symptom that I healed was my mental health symptoms. And I've said this a few times, but again, for the new people, I was a wreck. I was just miserable. Not even thrilled about waking up every morning. I was just ready to get it over with. I was thinking, like, how come I don't have any illnesses that will actually kill me? Why do I have the ones that are going to torture me for decades? My dad had rheumatoid arthritis for the last 20 or 30 years of his life, and he didn't take any medicine. They gave him something. He did not like the way it made him. He said it turned him into a different person, and he didn't like it, so he didn't take anything. And I mean, he was disfigured and crippled by it. I was very concerned about that happening to me. I wasn't going to be like, no medicine at all. I saw how that goes. So, the doctor didn't give me the strongest thing, the methotrexate, because of my liver condition. She said it was too hard on the liver. Couldn't take that. But the stuff that she did give me, it took it about 6 months. And that's what the literature said. It takes about 6 months to work. And I took that mess every day. Never missed a dose. And in about 6 months, that the worst of the rheumatoid arthritis symptoms started going away. And I mean, it's hard for me to believe now that I was in such poor physical condition just less than a year and a half ago, thinking that I was going to be crippled. My legs and hips hurt so much that I didn't think I was going to be able to walk for much longer. And I avoided walking. I didn't walk much. I couldn't take care of myself. I couldn't dress myself without assistance. I had assistive devices for everything. I had a shower chair, everything. I couldn't, you know, I was scared to get in and out of the shower. It was just awful. And now I am enjoying better health than I have since my mid-20s. And that's been a long time ago. I think like 30 years ago. It's just, I wish everybody had an opportunity. And, you know, it doesn't have to be strict carnivore for everybody before anybody starts flipping out. That's not necessary for everybody. But I wish that everyone had access to the food that they needed to make them be their best, most healthy self. And I wish that for you. And I just hope, I wish nobody had to suffer from the ills of the standard American diet. Stuff that I was taught by my doctors that I should eat, and it just ended up destroying my health. You know, I didn't do myself a lot of favors, but again, had non-sober behavior around carbs as just another symptom of that standard American diet that it causes in some people, that it causes them not to be able to moderate. I'm not a moderator, not at all. And it's just, I can see that. I can see how people, you know, there are carnivore channels now for people who've been doing this for a long time and who had a celebratory meal, something that was not something off of their plan, and you struggle, or they struggled, and I've struggled. I know what it's like for months or even years to get back going straight. So that's why I don't cheat. And I know that a lot of that is it's related to the gut microbiome. Whatever you feed is what survives down there. And the microbes that are bad for you, they like all the sweet and the sweets and all of that stuff, all of the bread, and you know, and that's why, so you can be on carnivore for a while and you get them all killed off, kill off most of the bad stuff. But then if you have something, it wakes them up again. The ones that survived, those are the strong ones. Those are the superbugs in your gut. Once you give them a little bit of food, they come back full force, and it's the tough ones. And it takes a long time. It takes many generations of those microbes, however long they live, to get them down to the ones that you can say that you can willingly deprive them of food. So I don't want to do that. I don't want to stir up any angry bugs down there, because they have ruined my life for way too long. I guess that's all I got for you tonight. I've been running my mouth for almost 20 minutes, but I feel like this is so important. I wish health to everybody. I wish it to you. I hope you have a beautiful night, and many more coming up. And I will see you in the next one.